Hello, and welcome to day 12 of the Form a Day Challenge by Clever. My name is Kareem Cooperhouse, and today we're looking at a student injury form. And this is a form that every district has. And let me show you a version of what was provided to us by a district. This is their paper-based form where most likely or most of the time a nurse would come in after a student was injured and complete the form. So name of the school, name of the student that was injured, parents, what grade, lots of information that usually is available in the student information system already, but on a paper-based form needs to be completed by hand. And then details about the accident, where did it occur, how did it occur, nature of the injury, and so on. And was there a supervisor present? And then the nurse would sign off on it. And then the second part of the form, which is really the back of the form, talks about what actually happened after in terms of care. Was any aid provided? Was the student sent to the hospital by ambulance? Was the fire department involved? And this is important because the ambulance, for example, incurs costs which the district needs to bore and which needs to be filed with the insurance company. So this kicks off other processes within the district. So it's important to gather this information over here. As well, witnesses are being, the data regarding witnesses is also being added on the form. So let's take a look at how we automated this form within the Clever platform. So I'm in the Clever platform now, and I'm going to scroll down to that form. So let's go down, and there it is, student injury form. And so the nurse would come in, click on a student, and then most of this information here would be pre-populated. So of course, we're not tied into student information right now because it's the sandbox, but all this information will be pulled in from your student information system. So it gets pre-populated. And then the accident details would be in the second tab. So this is how we manage the real estate of a form. We break it up into tabs. So here, for example, I put in the date of the incident and the time, and then I can provide some details. Where did it occur? Did it occur in the cafeteria or in the gymnasium? And this is important because as you get more and more student injuries, you'll be able to gather data and come back and say, how many times over the past year has a student been injured in the gymnasium versus the football field? And this is important information because it's going to allow you to make evidence-based decisions in terms of health and safety in your school district. And then over here, as I hover over some of these information points here, I can understand what needs to be put in here. Obviously, this is the nature of the injury, describe how it happens, the name of the activity. And then here, for example, if it was a football practice, then you would indicate that over there. If it wasn't, right, then it actually was a game, then you'd say it was actually a game. And this again becomes important because if you're trying to gather information about how these accidents or where these accidents are happening, then you'll be able to make better decisions how to move forward. Who was the supervisor? What's their title? Again, this could be pre-populated. You could have a drop-down that pulls the data in from your SIS or your HR system so that you can just pick a name from the drop-down. Was this activity supervised? And then the school nurse would then sign off on this form. And doing so will provide a timestamp, and then some additional information can be gathered, as well as any witnesses. So here, for example, we can add as many witnesses as we want, 2, 3, take some off if necessary, and so on. The next tab is the actual response to the accident. So was immediate action taken? If so, who provided the action? And again, describe that aid that was provided. And was there an ambulance called? If so, specify the ambulance name. Fire department, parent guardian called. This is very important information. And the time as well needs to be captured. Anybody else call? What was the destination for the ambulance? Was it the hospital, physician's office, and so on? And so this is all the information that's being gathered because there are other processes that are going to kick in based on how some of these fields are triggered. And then finally, the report gets signed off. And then the next part is the workflow. Once this has all been completed, it can then be submitted to the superintendent, and then the superintendent will know exactly what's happening. And so this is just one way of doing a student injury form, also known as a student incident report. We've done lots of these over the years, and every time that we build one, it is custom to the district. So it becomes very flexible depending on the workflow and depending on the needs of the district. Stay tuned tomorrow for another Form a Day challenge.